I want to make this video today because otherwise the image that I'm talking about will go offline. This is coming from a game that I play every morning with my coffee called When Taken. You get 5 images and you have to guess where in the world you are and when in the world you are, what time from 1860 till the present. And there was an image today that combines a few of my interests, both as fun with historical images and geography, but also artificial intelligence and also an ecological aspect about what we can do or what we should be thinking about doing in terms of trying to combat some of the things that we do to cause global melting. For a quick glance at When Taken, today's edition had a castle somewhere in Austria. I didn't get very close. This image, where if you zoom in here, you can see that there's something that's written in Roman alphabet but reads kind of like Arabic. And then up there, you can see that there's a sign that has a word that's in English. So that's Maltese, and we've got to be in Valletta and Malta, but there's no real way, based on the crowd having some sort of celebration, to tell exactly when. So got pretty close on that. I was happy. There's a US flag. The architecture looks like it's somewhere in Washington, D.C. So some important person died sometime in the first half of the century. I was pretty close geographically, but pretty far off time-wise. And then some ruins with tourists somewhere in Central America. Oh, I was in the wrong part of Mexico. Okay, let's look more closely at this picture from what's clearly Germany. You can see from the sign, Hotel Straussen or something. Uh, Rathaus, so that's the town office. Looking at the cars, when are these from? Late 50s, early 60s? What I'm going to guess is, around 1960, somewhere in the middle of Germany, looking at the architecture. But nobody's really keeping score. Let's see what ChatGPT says about this. It wouldn't really be cheating to see what ChatGPT says because this is just entertainment, not competing against anyone. Let's go see. So I saved a screenshot of the picture and gave it to ChatGPT and said, what year was the attached picture taken and where was it taken? I'm also interested in knowing about the cars that are shown in the image. This prompt was also so that I can learn more about cars because I don't really know my cars from that era. And if I come across them in future editions of the game, that'll be good knowledge to have. I won't read you the full text of what came back, but the image appears to depict a scene from a German town with traditional half-timbered houses and a Rathaus, town hall, in the background, suggesting it's likely in Germany. The style of architecture and signage such as Hotel Strauss are consistent with German towns, particularly in regions like Bavaria or Baden-Württemberg. Now that's information that I actually wouldn't have known, so that'll change the assessment of where to actually place the pin. Then it gives information about some of the cars. There's a Volkswagen Beetle that I hadn't noticed hiding behind some other cars, something called an Opel Rekord P1. That must be the Mercedes. But really what I was interested in were these two cars here, these two smaller cars. So I asked in the previous image, there are two small vehicles parked in front of the stores. What are those? And ChatGPT came back with the answer, the BMW Isetta and the Gogomobile. Now keep in mind, image analysis is one of the strong suits, where a big part of the training data is images that have been manually tagged by people who are looking at sample images and giving them labels. So we should expect that we should get pretty good results for cars. Okay, so I went in and looked. BMW Isetta is a cute little microcar. Here, let's look at this. Cute little microcar. Opens in the front. Here it is closed. Another version. Where is it in the picture? Well, actually, it's neither of these cars. So ChatGPT got that one wrong. What about the Gogomobile? This looks very much like one of the cars in the picture, like the bigger of the cars in the picture. You've got this thing, this styling going up over the wheels, which is similar to that styling going up over the wheels. Here's a similar angle. You've got this styling going over the wheels. It's like that. So it's hard to tell if it's exactly the right car, but if it's not, it's close cousin. The only thing that really makes me doubt is that there's some sort of thing here on the grill on that car that does not appear in any of the photos of the Gogomobile that I've seen on Google. So it might be something different, or different model year, or customization after the fact. Who knows? And then ChatGPT states, These microcars were a common sight in European cities during the 1950s and 60s due to their practicality in urban environments and their economic advantages during a time of recovery and growth. We'll come back to that in a minute. I wrote back that I didn't think it was right about the BMW Isetta and sent in a zoom of the smaller microcar. And, very politely, it said, "Thank you for the close-up image. Based on the more detailed view, the small vehicle in question is not a BMW Isetta, but rather a Messerschmitt KR200." And it lists some of the design features. It says it has a bubble canopy, tandem seating, so one in front, one in back, a narrow body with 3 wheels. And it was produced from 1955 to 1964 by the German aircraft manufacturer Messerschmitt, designed by a man named Fritz Fend. Let's do an image search for the Messerschmitt KR200. Look at this adorable little vehicle. This is not only cute, this would be a head turner to drive around town, wouldn't it? Here it is in white. Kudos to the sculptor. Here it is with somebody standing outside it, towering over it, and 2 people inside it. I don't know if you'd want to put in 2 grown people, but it'd be fun to try. You could certainly get in 1 adult and a kid, or 1 adult and all the groceries that they could haul back from a grocery store. Look, there's a convertible version, a different roof model. There it is, open. Okay, there it is with some passengers, stock photo. They actually don't look that uncomfortable, do they? Probably not the thing to take on a cross-country road trip, but good for a hop between nearby towns or cities. Ooh, that's hot. And it's on a small country road. This would be a breeze to park, a breeze to get into places where big cars just can't go. Here's the driver's view. 1959 Messerschmitt KR200. So if you want to read the entire chat, and it shows a little bit about how you can do prompt engineering and get some interesting results when you're able to double check the answers. Let me just click share chat. Oops, it says unable to share conversation. Sharing conversations with images is not yet supported. Okay, so I've written, can you produce a resurrection of the entire above chat without the images that's in a format that you will allow me to share? So it's done that. Let me just copy that, pop over to Word, paste in the text, save as analysis of where taken Germany photograph, save file, print PDF, analysis of photograph, save Kamfupi. This is the really spectacular Kamfupi web shortening service that I've developed with our programmer in Kenya, and that's available for nonprofit organizations. Do check it out. I'll put a link right there somewhere. Okay, document, upload document, analysis of photograph, docx. Call this where taken micro cars. Done. Okay, so that's the link, where taken micro cars. And had I not gotten ChatGPT's opinion that this was in one of the southern parts of Germany, I probably would have plunked up there. Instead, I plunked down in Lower Bavaria. It was, what, 150 kilometers off? That's also a pretty good guess with ChatGPT. But what I want to focus in on here is these microcars. In the past few decades, we've been growing our cars larger and larger. People just keep buying these bigger and bigger beasts. So you end up hauling around not just what you need for yourself and whatever you need to carry, but also a whole extra hippopotamus. In the case of some of the larger SUVs or pickup trucks, a rhinoceros. And all of that is extra fuel, a huge amount of extra fuel. Whether you're talking about electric or whether you're talking about gas-powered vehicles, you need a certain amount of energy to move a certain amount of weight. Now, there are things, you can get efficiencies in engines and stuff. But basically, if you have a car that's 4 times larger, you need 4 times the amount of energy to move it from point A to point B. It's pretty basic math. Which means that if you want to convert to an electric vehicle, for example, you need 4 times as much electricity. So if you convert from driving 1,000,000 cars with gasoline power to 1,000,000 cars of exactly the same size with electric power, you still need basically the same amount of energy, whether it's, that energy might be coming from a different source. Now think of the energy that you need to power 1,000,000 cars. We can make that we can make this 4 times more effective. Either we reduce the size of the cars so that you're driving something that's a quarter of the size of your car plus hippopotamus that you're currently driving, so that those 1,000,000 cars, instead of needing that much power, just need that much power from wind or solar or wherever you're getting your electricity. Or you produce the same amount of power, and instead of 1,000,000 cars, now you can convert 4 million cars to ride on the same amount of power. If your cars are, 4 times smaller. And look at these little micro cars. They were driving these things 60 years ago, and really they are a quarter of the size. And they perform pretty much all the functions that one needs in an automobile. Gets you from point A to point B in comfort, in style, and that Messerschmitt, that Messerschmitt, that Messerschmitt, that Messerschmitt, that Messerschmitt, that Messerschmitt. Try saying Messerschmitt. That Messerschmitt vehicle really shows the sculptural possibilities of what you can do with a car that size. So a microcar doesn't have to be some little bubble. It can be actually some fun thing that's going to turn heads. It also can be updated to contemporary standards. So you've got your nice sound, you've got sound insulation, you've got decent shock absorbers, all the sorts of things that we've figured out how to make these enormous vehicles comfortable. A lot of that same technology can be reduced to also make for a fun and comfortable ride in a smaller car. This is 60-year-old technology we're looking at, right? 60-year-old technology that was saving a lot of people a lot of money, and today could be saving you money, saving you energy expenses, put on electricity and saving the planet from the carbon impact of what you're driving around now, and helping make that conversion for everybody 4 times as fast. We don't have a lot of time, so why not think about demanding something smaller, getting out on the road in something smaller, showing other people that they can be driving something smaller and looking just as cool or a hell of a lot cooler than one does in an SUV or a pickup truck or even a Tesla or what we think of as a normal sized car these days. So the ecological aspect, thinking about how we can, in actually a fairly large way in this case, reduce the impact that we're having on the environment, is the main point that I wanted to get out of this. But looking at this from this historical perspective, that you can look back 60 years and see that we could have been going along this path, and that actually wasn't such a bad path to be going along. And also to show you the game, because maybe you'll enjoy it too, and also to look a little at ways that you can actually use AI as a practical tool. So if you liked this video, please make sure to subscribe to the Pirate Professor YouTube channel. Give a like, share it, all that stuff, and see you in the next one.